I really hate when parents choose to pick on their own kids. Like, come on. So what's up guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm G, and on this channel we do true crime videos Mondays to Fridays, and on the weekends we try to do something fun. If that's something that you like, consider subscribing. And so today we are going to be talking about a case that involves domestic violence and child abuse. So if that's something that triggers you, please just run. Just a disclaimer there. And my usual disclaimer, all this stuff I say in this video is stuff I've read on the internet and just compiled it into one video. Judith Eva Barsi was a child actress born on June 6, 1978 to Joseph and Maria Barsi. Joseph and Maria were both Hungarian immigrants who had migrated to the US individually, but they met. Maria worked as a waitress in Los Angeles, and she met Joseph at this bar. So she already knew most of the people who were regulars there, and Joseph came along. He was new and he sounded confident. He looked like he was rich and was confident about himself. So she sort of liked him, and Joseph liked her too, and she was thinking about like settling down. So he looked like someone who was good for that. However, when they were brought up in like separate lives, because Maria was this well taken care of, her family had enough to take care of her properly, while Joseph's family did not. The way he grew up, his family did not have that much, and his father was out of the picture, so he was frequently bullied, and it really took a toll on his personality and like his self-esteem. So when Joseph migrated, he moved around a bit and settled in Los Angeles, where he met Marie, and they ended up falling in love and getting married like not long after that. And soon after being married, Marie found out that she was pregnant. Just like really short after the wedding, she found out that she was pregnant, and they had a little girl called Judith. She was just really fun, and always, like, everyone described her, like the manager, neighbors just always described her as a little angel. Was just really lively, and she often liked to play outside with her friends. She was someone who loved the outdoors. So when Judith was born, Joseph wanted Marie to be a stay-at-home wife, and she was okay with that. She was fine with that because it was better. She would enjoy taking care of Judith more. But before all of this, Marie personally wanted to be an actress. She just liked the life of a celebrity, and that's what she wanted. However, when she got married, she had a child, she just saw she had a family, and that is something that she could not really pursue at that point in her life. So while she stayed at home being a stay-at-home mom, she just thought to herself, well, her little girl can probably fulfill those dreams for her. And she decided she did not overwork her. Like, it's just something they enjoyed doing. She decided to start training Judith, like how to stand nicely, how to talk, how to read, and all of the stuff. Like singing practice, enrolled her in dance classes. Like, I read that just at the age of 5 years old, Judith was spotted at an ice rink where she would get her first job. But she was already doing ice skating classes and stuff like that. So that's just the kind of mom Maria was with her, and Judith seemed to really enjoy all of these activities with her mom. So when Judith was 5 years old, there was a commercial going on where she goes to practice ice skating, and the director just really spotted her and was like, okay, maybe this is someone who has potential. And they ended up speaking to Judith's parents that same day, and she got a commercial. Like, by the end of her career, she ended up doing like more than 70 commercials, like a series of movies, most often lending her voice to different characters. The first commercial that she did opened doors for her for so many more, and the director just really liked working with her because she was really good at what she did. She had roles in so many movies, about 25, and some of them include Just the Revenge, Slam Dance, like different roles, and The Land Before Time. But her last role was in this movie called All Dogs Go to Heaven. The crazy part is she never ended up watching that movie. Judith was such a smallish child, which gave her an upper hand in some of her acting roles, because if they are looking for a younger kid, she can pass for a 3-year-old when she's 5. She can pass for a 7-year-old when she's 10, and she'll probably do it better than an actual 7-year-old because she was actually really good. So all of these made Judith start earning. She was already earning over $100,000 a year by the time she was 7 years old. Like, this was a working kid. She was doing really good, and this could afford her parents in a 3-bedroom house. Now, this was because her family was not that well off before all of this, and her acting could help her parents get a really good house. However, this made her father, Joseph, jealous because, I mean, the little girl was already earning more than him, but that's something to be proud of. But it made him kind of jealous, and he started becoming bitter towards her and her mom. And like I said earlier, whenever his self-esteem is low, he turns to drinking, even though it was not really an addiction, but he just really turns to drinking when his self-esteem is so low. So Joseph is becoming bitter all the time. Like, it's a different person from who Maria met. She had met this nice guy that seemed to be all okay and fine, and he was just becoming this bitter guy that was slowly becoming, like, he will come home drunk and just being nasty to all of them, and she just did not recognize him, and she had not seen this side of him before. But that was because you know how I said Maria was their child. Well, Maria was their only child, but Joseph had a life before that, which Maria had no idea about, because Joseph was first married to another woman called Clara when he was moving around, when he had just come. So they lived in New York, and his wife Clara she went through something like a similar situation. Joseph was nice until he started gradually becoming aggressive and abusive towards them, and would talk about burning her and her kids because she had 2 kids, and the kids were already becoming teenagers, and so that made Clara absolutely just leave him. She had reached a point that she realized this was her reality, so Clara left him and took the kids away. He decided to go back to her and try to beg, but she was just not having it, and he threw something at her, gave her a black eye, and absolutely left that part of his life behind, closed that chapter, and moved to Los Angeles, where he met Maria and was this new guy that he had reinvented himself to be. So Maria had no idea who that part of him was, because maybe if she did, she would have seen that this is going to be a reality earlier. Maria just decided to be coping with him. She told her neighbors about him being insultive and abusive, but no one really took her seriously because she was not particularly making any steps. She never took herself seriously. She was not making any steps to leave the relationship. Like, at that time, it was just still new, and she was not particularly making any steps to leave the relationship. So when they would go on trips for the child to work, she would talk to like other people about it, maybe other moms who are there with their kids. She would talk to them about it, and they would like try to take her seriously. Okay, what are you planning to do about this? What about if we run away and stuff like that? And she'll be like, yeah. She'll be really into it, and the next day she'll come back and she'll be talking about going back to Joseph. So people stopped taking her that seriously. So that was just a life about Joseph she had no idea existed. Now, when Judith was 8 years old, that was when Marie made her first police report, and she just called the police and was like, he had abused her, he had strangled her. But when the police arrived, I read that there was no evidence. They found no evidence of that, and she was just like, oh, he strangled me. He like, I don't know if they did not see marks on her neck or something like that, but they were just, it was written that there was no evidence. And then later on, Marie decided that she did not want to press charges. I mean, I would understand living in a house where your abuser is, and then you're thinking about pressing charges. Like, the abuse is just going to triple, but why not leave? So Marie decided she did not want to press charges, and that was just brushed off. So Joseph kind of slowed down with his drinking, but he still continued abusing them. And soon after, that abuse gradually moved from Marie being the center of attention to his daughter. And like Judith was just experiencing all of these aggressiveness at home, and was beginning to affect her at school. She would even tell her friends how her dad was being mean to her, how he had thrown her toys at her, stuff like that. So one day Marie is watching Judith play with a kite, with a new kite that she just got, and Joseph is just feeling bitter and he's like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do to make my family's life miserable today? And he goes over to Judith and tries to take her kite from her. As a kid, she's trying to protect her cat, and she's trying to like put the kite behind her, and he's like, see, she's now a brat. She's a spoiled brat. And to teach her a lesson, he takes the kite, destroys it in front of the child, and she's just crying. Like, who does that? Given his experience with Clara, Joseph knows Maria, like, she's not happy with their situation, and she's probably trying to leave him. And he has been warning her. He has shown her like a set of gasoline, like I'm going to kill you. He has told many friends about it. He has also told her so many times, like, I'm going to kill you. He had even talked about killing himself, killing Judith, and leaving Maria alive just so she can suffer. Like, seriously, he has told Maria so many times and threatened her so many times, if you leave, I'm going to kill you. If you leave, I'm going to kill you. And during one of the movies that they were going to work at the Bahamas, Maria was to travel with Judith, and Joseph is like worried, and he does not want them out of his sight because he's thinking, oh my gosh, what if she runs away? Now, to make sure they don't run away, he decides to take a knife, goes into his daughter's room, puts a knife to her throat, and tells her, if you don't come back from this trip, I'm going to cut your throat. I'm going to slit your throat. And obviously she's terrified, and like, the memory is planted in her head. So they go on this trip, and Maria meets other women, and they're just talking about, because they're not working that much, given that they're working with kids, and the cast, they're just hanging out a lot. And Maria meets other people, and she's talking about her situation, and everyone is like, this woman might actually be in trouble and stuff like that, and trying to offer help, and being like, okay, what is your plan to run away? Maybe you can just run away. You can just run away from here, because you already have your kid and you have like stuff that you traveled with, so you can run away from here. But Maria is just, she's not serious about leaving. So everyone just begins to brush off whatever she's saying about the whole situation. So after their work trip at the Bahamas, Maria is thinking, okay, she's not really excited about going home, and she decides to go and visit her brother in New York. So they leave there and go to New York to visit her brother, and somehow Joseph finds out about that, and Joseph calls the brother and was like, oh, he wants to speak to Judith. And when he talks to her, he just tells her, do you remember what I told you? Like, do you remember what we talked about before you left? And Judith starts crying, and she tells her mom everything about what he had said he's going to do if they don't come back home. So the next day they're on a flight home. They're on a flight back to Joseph. Like, I don't know. I don't want to blame anyone, but like, I feel like I don't know if the brother knew what was going on, because I'll definitely keep my sister if I know shit was going on like that. So they're back at home now. Neighbors started offering them like safe passage at their house if they just wanted to come there and hide and just be away from Joseph. Like, they're willing to do that for them, and Maria always just turns them down. She wanted to stay at her house. Like, she's like, okay, fine, they'll figure this out. Now Judy is taking a serious toll on her, and she starts becoming very nervous. She began to get wet. She began to pull her eyelashes, and she even pulled the whiskers of her cat. Like, this child is just absolutely traumatized. One day during one of an auditions that she had actually auditioned and gotten the part, she was auditioning for like the singing part of it, and from nowhere she just started crying, like a little child, just crying unprovoked. Just, people were worried, so her manager immediately booked her a session with a psychologist, because she was like, okay, this child, something is wrong. No one made her cry, and at this point she's a professional actress. She knows what she's doing, so it's not like a first time thing for her. So just after one session with the therapist, the psychologist was like, okay, this child is traumatized, she's physically and mentally abused, and she's traumatized. So they talked to Maria and they're trying to find out more. They called this is crazy, they actually called child protective service in on this. So now the social worker brings Maria in and they're like, what is going on? Why is this child in this state of mind? And Maria tells them all what is going on with Joseph and everything that she has to go through. They both have to go through at home. And they are trying to take action, but Maria is like, but all of that is going on, but relax, because I have it figured I have it figured out. I'm about to divorce him, and I literally have an apartment I'm about to move to. And they're like, okay, they're beginning to listen to her. She's like, yeah, she actually had an apartment that she had rented at this point. Like, she had rented it for like a few weeks by the time all of this is going on. And she used to take Judith there during the day. Sometimes when she's off work and she has no work or school, she would just take her there for her to go and relax, and they both relax and just have a good time, and then come back home in the evenings and continue their life with Joseph. And Joseph had no idea that this was going on. So Maria tells the Child Protective Services that this is what is happening, and they believe her because she's already talking about having a house and planning to get a divorce and leave him. So they believe her and they let them go. And the child, actually the person working that case already was overworked, and if this is already a case that was handled, she dismissed the case and was happy to let them go, because this is already something that is getting figured out, and trying to focus on other kids that probably needed more help, which were already on her case. So she lets them go. And now Maria goes back, but she's coming up with this plan. She's like, okay, she doesn't want to leave her 3-bedroom house that they had just gotten. She wanted Joseph to live. At this time, guys, I didn't even tell you guys this part, but Joseph had started having other girlfriends outside. So he's cheating. He just was the king over their lives at this time, because he's cheating and he's treating them like trash, but still wanting to make sure that they stay there. Like, this dude was crazy, still wanting to make sure that they stay there. So Maria comes up with this brilliant idea that, okay, she's going to look like trash, so Joseph gets to leave her. But guess what? After not tidying up, not taking care of herself, not looking pretty, Joseph still stayed. It did not work. She wanted him to leave, and so she gets to keep the house and she stays there with the child. But I mean, the honest truth is, she should have left for their own safety. Yeah, so let's be honest, Maria fucked up at this point of time. She did fuck up trying to get the house instead of continuing with her plan on living. And actually, she had started sneaking some things out of the house quietly to that new apartment, until one day Joseph actually met her and decided to follow her and saw the new apartment. Like, he knew the address where that apartment was at. But Maria she succeeded in lying and getting away with that. She just told him, oh no, it's her friend's house, and she was just coming to drop some things that had been in her car. But like, if they disappeared, that would be the first house he would have gone to. So yeah, but she did make a mistake trying to keep the house, because it's understandable her daughter had worked to get them that house. So it was understandable why she wanted it, but I feel like she could have put their safety first. But again, I do understand, because Joseph has been talking about killing them for the longest time ever. It's just one of those it's just what some people say. When people are angry, people say all type of things, but no one ever thought that he would actually portray it, because he has told everyone about it. He has literally told everyone. Like, a friend actually read somewhere, a friend said that he had told them more than 500 times that he was going to kill Maria. He's going to kill Maria, kill himself, and kill the kid. He had just said it so many times, and he had talked about killing Maria and killing the kid and killing himself just to make Maria suffer. So no one could believe that he was actually going to pull through with it. So one of the days, Judith was at one of the friends' house, and she just kept playing there endlessly. I mean, they always let her play there till late, because they know that she's already having a hard time at home, and when she wants to stay there as long as she wants to, they just let her do it. And this particular day, Judith really did not want to go home, because she was really terrified. So they got talking to her, and she ended up telling them that daddy has threatened to kill mommy. Like, daddy said he would kill mommy, and they are worried and they get to Maria, but like it's just the ongoing thing, and no one did anything about it. On July 25th of 1988, Judith had just turned 10 years old. She had a party like the previous month. June 6th was her birthday, so they had a nice birthday party. She had a good time and she was just really enjoying being a child, always playing around outside. And on July 25th, the neighbor saw her play outside. It was just another regular day, and her mom put her to sleep, and she also went to bed while Joseph was left in the living room drinking and watching TV, which was what they will always leave him there. So that night, Joseph got up, went to his cupboard, took his gun, and went to his daughter's room. And while she was lying on the bed in her sleep, he shot her a bullet to her head. And when Maria heard that sound, like something in her just knew what had happened, and she jumped off the bed and was rushing to go to Judith's room. But at the hallway, she met Joseph, and there was some sort of a struggle because she was like trying to get to the child's room to like figure out what has just happened. And Joseph fought with her and ended up pushing her to the ground. And on the ground in the hallway, he shot another bullet to her head. So that is where Judith died, and that was where Maria died, on those two different spots. For the next 2 days, Joseph continued living his life like just normal, whereas he had not touched both bodies as where they were. I don't know how he got to sleep in that house after he just murdered his not just two people, his actual family. I don't know how he just got to stay in that house. Now 2 days later, someone like Judith is supposed to be somewhere, so they are calling like what happened, and the manager is trying to get to them, and he was like, no, they left the house and he hasn't heard from them. He just came back to say goodbye to his daughter. And later on that day, this is like 2 days after the murder, the neighbor had an explosion. So she checks and looks at their house, and she saw smoke coming out. So she calls 911, and it's like, oh, there's a fire here, and the fire department is running over. She starts to try to put the fire off with her hose, like her gardening hose, and it's just small. So the fire department get over there, and then they find 3 bodies. And what the neighbor had heard was not an explosion, but was a gunshot where Joseph shot himself. He took his own life. I mean, I wish he had done that like 2 days prior. It would have saved all of us the trouble. So Judith died at the age of 10, and Maria at the age of 48. Her useless father at the age of 50. So the fire that was coming from the house was fire that Joseph probably started before he shot himself, because there was gasoline everywhere, and that's how the fire was started, showing that it had been started manually. So maybe he was planning that the whole house would get burnt and their bodies would not be recognizable and no one would find out what he did, but I have no idea what his plans were. And I just feel bad that Judith was crushed in this because she could not fix him. It's a little girl, she cannot fix him. She was born to be taken care of, and it's a shame that with all the great things that she did, and she was going to be an amazing star, the director still had plans for her as roles. He had roles for her in upcoming movies that he was planning to make, because she was just so good and a really nice little girl. Well, I feel bad that this is how her life ended. And the crazy part is she had actually acted a movie. I forgot the title, but she had actually acted a movie, which is exactly what ended up happening to her. Because in the movie, she played one of the young daughters of a man who ended up killing his entire family, his 2 daughters. He killed his 2 daughters, his wife, his pregnant wife, and himself. And that's exactly what that is similar to what the father did to them. She ended up being buried, even though she did not have a tombstone. She and her mom did not have a tombstone for a while, but there were some donations made, and they ended up getting one 16 years after they had been buried. Okay guys, so let me know what you think in the comment section. This was a hard one to do, because I mean, most of these cases are always hard, but I just hate when children are not taken care of because they are actually helpless at that point. Let me know what you guys think, and make sure you like and subscribe. See you guys in the next video.